Hello.
Pleasure to meet you. And right now we are going through the starting lineups for Musselman and the Hedgesville Eagles. For Hedgesville, we will have Maggie Boyer leading off, Kaylee Lawford batting second, Anna Collins batting third, Gracie Brown batting fourth, Olivia Cooper batting fifth, Shay Darlington batting sixth, Morgan Gutteridge batting seventh, Kaylee Dollar batting eighth, Lincoln Oakley batting ninth. For the Musselman Appleton, we have Lydia Clintock batting first, Sarah Munson batting second, Marissa Washington batting third, Morgan Bennett batting fourth, Addie Miller batting fifth, Kaylee Newland batting sixth, Molly Rutherford batting seventh, Lacey Slick batting eighth, and Sydney Owens batting ninth. The flex position of Mackenzie Shanholz. So, Kaylin, you're a Musselman alumni.
I'm actually a Jefferson alumni, yes.
Jefferson alumni. And I assume you may have played against some of these players, or
yeah.
next to some of these players?
So I don't know a lot about either one of these teams here recently, but, obviously storied history. I've played on this field since I was in Little League, so definitely been a lot of good quality competitive games held here.
Batting eighth and playing right field, number 9, Kaylin Dollar.
Okay, so as they're going through the starting lineups, the main thing that we want to focus on tonight is giving these young ladies a platform. The first thing we want to say, and I know that she's injured, but a happy 17th birthday to Ellie Sloan. And we will take a quick pause for the national anthem. We are back at Hedgesville High School. We're about to get the first pitch as Musselman goes and snacks hands with the umpires. See a little bit different than baseball. But the leadoff, Lydia McClintock, for Musselman, Sarah Munson, Marissa Washington, and if I apologize if I say some of these names wrong, please correct me if I'm mispronouncing your name. I don't want to disrespect anyone's family. We have Morgan Bennett, Addie Miller, Kaylee Newland, Molly Rutherford, Lacey Slick, and batting ninth, Sydney Ellinger, with a flex position of Mackenzie Shanholz. What is something that you look forward to, Caitlin, when you want to start the game off? What kind of tempo, what kind of tone do you like to set?
I think in the first inning, you can really set the tone of the game and just feeling confident. Obviously, there's a lot of individual aspects of softball, but just making sure the team's pumped up, ready to go. I would probably say this game's probably a little bit of a rivalry game here in Berkeley County. So, those energies, those nerves, we're still early in the season, just working together as a team to get a win and start off the game strong.
back at Hedgesville High School. We're about to take the pitch down and get the game started. Number 6 for Hedgesville, Gracie Brown, the freshman, will start off on the mound. And, for people who do follow softball, you realize that Jefferson last year won the state championship, and, 2 of their top pitchers were freshmen, and Brooke Allen and Becca Munslow, along with a host of amazing hitters, and one of the best teams that ever came through the area for softball. So I think a lot of teams now are feeling a little bit more comfortable putting the younger players on the mound as they get so much experience in travel ball that wasn't as prevalent early in baseball around the Eastern Panhandle and softball. So, Caitlin, what are some of the most elite pitches that you struggled with, in your days playing softball?
Did you say pitchers or pitches? Pitchers. Lexi Rogers was a pitcher for Martinsburg. She pretty much dominated on the mound, both on the mound and at the plate when I was in high school. Fallon Brown, who I believe is the coach of Musselman, she was also a player. Megan Holmes from Musselman when I played. But my senior year, we were led by a freshman pitcher on the mound, and Tiffany Biggs. She went on to play at Shepherd. Katie Mangold, who's now an assistant coach at Washington, she was also a freshman when she started on the mound for us. So I think it just goes to show, the confidence that these coaches have in their players putting a freshman on the mound to start.
And the first pitch, smoke, strike one right down the middle, and she attacked her immediately to see how she can handle her fastball. 0-1 for Gracie Brown versus Lydia McClintock, the leadoff. Second pitch, low to the backstop, 1-1. And as a player, when the emotions are high, what is something that you did to kind of calm yourself down, get yourself refocused and back into the game?
I think just like baseball, softball is a game of rituals, right? The same motion going into the batter's box. I was an outfielder for most of my high school career and in college, and the routines that us as outfielders had in between innings and in between pitches, just all of those routines that you get used to day in and day out.
Routine ground ball to the second baseman, and Lydia McClintock is out.
One of the things I noticed in that first at bat was seems like the pitcher's throwing a lot of drop balls. Obviously, she induced a ground ball there. She missed low in the zone, so I'm curious to see as the game goes on if that's kind of her consistent pitch or what else she might have.
1-0. First pitch is a ball to Sarah Munson. And Sarah Munson was a candidate last year for home team all area. So it's definitely good to see some of these girls up close and personal. And that changeup goes a little bit high, 2-0. Thank you guys for joining us on our first softball broadcast for Home Team Sports TV. Gracie Brown steps back on the mound, 2-0. Another ground ball to the second baseman, the high hop, out. She retires the first two. And I think that's something that obviously we saw that she had a pretty electric fastball with the first pitch, but she realizes keeping that pitch count down, keeping herself in good positive counts is going to help her have a more efficient game and keep the game moving. Now I think the game's moving towards a little bit of pitches working fast and efficient, and she's done that the first two batters of the game. Number 6, Marissa Washer.
I think it also shows the confidence in her defense behind her as well. She may not be a dominating pitcher as far as strikeouts, but she can induce those ground balls, those fly balls that her defense can manage behind her. It's just as efficient as getting a strikeout.
Exactly. And that was a pretty difficult hop that the second baseman for Hedgesville, number 12, just want to make sure, Morgan Gutteridge. She's made 2 great plays, but that was definitely a hop that for most players it could actually give them problems and turn that into an error, but she kept her composure and was able to get the out. 2-1 count to the third batter, Marissa Washer. The freshman steps back on the mound. The pitch is low, 3-1. I think as you see, you get to the third hitter, the cleanup hitter, the power, the meteor order, you see a little bit more patience to try to get a pitch they can actually do some damage with. And she walks her. So we will get to see the cleanup hitter, number 4, number 7, Morgan Bennett, the 4-hole hitter. We have our first base runner of the game. And one of the greatest things that a hitter can have is a third base coach that knows their tendencies. They know when they're locked in. They know what they see. And getting that instruction is just another level of confidence they get on the field. First pitch strike, 0-1. Second pitch fouled off down the line, and she is quickly down 0-2. And in baseball terms, we would call this choke and poke territory. We want to choke up, get a little bit more bat control, and put the ball in play.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. I think, when you're 0-2, I almost liked 0-2 as a hitter because all you had to do was make contact. You could foul off a lot of pitches by choking up on the ball.
And
again, that hop, yep. I noticed when they were warming up, it seems like the ground's really hard here. So I expect that to play into, as these fielders are fielding these balls.
And designated hitter, Addie Miller, is up next. And typically you see in between games, you see them water the field, but they didn't do that after the JV game in which Hedgesville was the winner in that game. But they didn't water the field, and I think that's causing some of those hops that we've seen for the second baseman, Ms. Gutteridge. First pitch, she fouls it off, and they've all been a little bit late on her fastball.
Yeah, it seems like she's throwing a lot on the inside corner. I'm not sure. I can't really tell if she's got a screwball or if it's just a drop ball that she's pitching on the inside corner, but it seems like she is pitching a lot into their hands. I'm curious, as we go through the order and these hitters come back up, what adjustments they might make.
Yeah, and it also bodes well that some of her pitches have movement.
Yep.
Where she's not necessarily, having to do anything to create some different angles with her pitches. And I think that the best pitchers, regardless if it's softball or baseball, just have that natural movement on their pitches to make it a little bit harder on the hitter. She is down 1-2.
That was a nice location on that pitch, right on the outside corner. Catcher did a great job framing that.
So we have base runners on first and second, 1-2 count. Gracie Brown with the pitch. And the ball is popped up to the shortstop, and it is caught, and it'll be the end of the first inning as Gracie Brown gets herself out of trouble. At the end of the top of the inning, the Musselman Appleman 0, the Hedgesville Eagles 0. We'll get to see Musselman now, see what kind of pitcher they have, see how she plans to attack this Hedgesville offense. Because it seems like Hedgesville has a little bit more of a potent offense, whereas Musselman is more dedicated on having good pitching and great defense. So let's see how they attack these hitters and how they can keep this Hedgesville attack down. I follow these teams on Game Changer so that I can always upload and I can always put the schedule down for the teams so that, the families and the people in the community can follow these amazing young ladies. And Hedgesville has started the season off 2-0. So it's definitely a team to be reckoned with. Washington's typically pretty good. The Jefferson, they're defending champions, so I know they're good. And we will be covering the Jefferson versus Washington game tomorrow on Home Team Sports TV. So tune in for a Jefferson County battle of two teams that have state aspirations. And they're the last two teams to represent this area at the state tournament with Washington.
Yeah, and I think you could even argue, I wish we could send two teams to the state tournament like we do with basketball because I definitely think that they're definitely two high-quality caliber teams that both would have done. Obviously Jefferson did well. They won the state tournament, but Washington, I wish that that was the same case here with softball as it was for basketball.
You know, we have Sarah Munson on the mound, but to piggyback off of that, I wish it was like that in basketball when I was growing up. You know, it was only one team that actually got out of the section. Munson with the first pitch, a little changeup. She misses high, 1-0. Maggie Boyer is at the plate. Second pitch, low and inside, 2-0. Once again, happy birthday to Ellie Sloan, the big 1-7. That's a good location right there. The ball's off the end of the bat, 1-2, and 2-1. My apologies.
I believe Maggie was the starting point guard for the Hedgesville girls basketball team as a freshman.
Seeing these dual sport athletes is amazing. Pitch is low, 3-1. And you know, I was always, raised up to play. We played football, we played basketball, we played baseball. And the ball's gonna get down in no man's land. It'll actually be the first hit of the game for Maggie Boyer. Hedgesville gets their leadoff hitter on base. Now we will have number 2 for Hedgesville, the 2-hole hitter, Kaylin Laughlin.
I think getting the leadoff batter on is so important every inning because then it gives you a lot of options. You can bunt them over into scoring position. You can do a hit and run. They could straight steal. It really puts more pressure on the defense.
And see, she already chokes up. So it lets me know, like, from watching a little bit of softball on TV, I'm not going to act like I'm an expert, but I do watch ESPN at times. I do know there's different styles of hitters, slap hitters, bunters, some hitters that kind of just drag the ball and they're just so fast they can get on base. But it seems like she just has a little bit different strategy than the hitters we've seen before. And she bunts it, she gets the ball down. Great defense by Musselman. They cover it. And it is an advancement.
And that's a great job by the hitter getting that bunt down. The first pitch she threw her was a rise ball. She obviously got underneath of that ball, but she was able to get the sacrifice down. Musselman did a great job defensively.
And we have Brianna Collis. She was on the home team, all-area team last year. You see them tell the outfielders get back a little bit, so she got a little bit of pop in her bat. That's one of the biggest ego boosts you get when you're a baseball player. When you get up there, you just see people back up a little bit. You just know, like, all right, I got the respect a little bit. And they're pitching to the outside, 2-0, so you can tell they're being really cautious with her. And if I'm not mistaken, and we have the AD here of Hedgesville, if I'm not mistaken, I think that she got a scholarship. She's going D1, if I'm not mistaken. Charleston, right? We are lucky and blessed to have the AD of Hedgesville up here in the booth with us. So we can get all that information to be able to boost the kids and let everyone know where these kids are going with their future. And I think that's a big reason why we wanted to develop Home Team Sports TV, to give these kids a platform to be seen and hopefully get more kids scholarships. So congratulations, Brianna. She hits the ball to the shortstop. She throws the ball errantly, and the ball gets away. So the error on the shortstop, and we will have a woman on second and third. So Maggie Boyer at third base, Brianna Collis at second base with the cleanup hitter, my apologies, Gracie Brown is a freshman. So the freshman that comes in, and she's an elite pitcher for Hedgesville, and she's the cleanup hitter. So you realize they had high hopes. They couldn't wait to get her here.
Yep.
They said she got her first home run last night. It's amazing how these freshmen are coming up. I'm only 5'10". My son is 6'1" already. I don't know how he got there, but you look at Gracie, and Gracie is bigger than all the other players on the team, and she's only a freshman. It's amazing how these kids are growing right now. But hopefully, as we continue to follow her career, she'll be someone else to get a scholarship. And that was an amazing hack right there that she
Yep,
took.
she wanted that one for sure. I think, you mentioned the opportunity that home team sports provides for, these girls and all the athletes that you guys cover, and how we have so many, not just in softball, but freshmen starting out, and starting or major roles on these teams. And I think a lot of that is because of the opportunities they have when they're younger. When I started playing softball, I played baseball for a year because we didn't have a softball team, and now you can start playing softball when you're 5. And I think, especially in women's sports, there's a lot more opportunities now. So these players are developing at younger ages. Their skill set when they get to high school is already really good. And so I think that's why you're seeing a lot of freshmen, sophomores in these big starting positions.
And the 1-2 count, and she strikes her out. That is a big pitch right there. And it'll be 2 outs. And we will have number 11, the left fielder, Olivia Cooper. 2 outs with a girl on second and third. And it's so different when I'm used to playing baseball. And now having to make sure I'm saying ladies and, second and third and not mixing it up. But I'm actually so excited to be able to cover these games. And I personally hope to cover more softball games than I do baseball, simply so I can become acclimated into something different than normal. I think it is actually, something that's more positive for the kids to see, more males and more of their classmates come out there and support them and show them the love and respect that they do every Friday night when you're playing football,
Yep.
or every Tuesday and Thursday and Friday when you're playing basketball. So I hope to see more people in the stands as the time goes by, so we can continue to create electric atmospheres for these young ladies. We have a 1-2 count, 2 outs. The ball down to first, and she gets out of the inning. Both pitchers have a high-stress inning, but they get out of it. At the end of 1, we have Musselman 0, Hedgesville 0. Akeem Holmes with Home Team Sports TV.
For the first, Musselman leads Hedgesville 3-0.
So as we get a report on the Musselman versus Hedgesville game, we have Musselman Appleman leading Hedgesville 3-0.
Leading off number
Thank
13,
you,
first baseman,
AD of Hedgesville, for
Newman.
that information. So we are back, and we will have Musselman with the 7-hitter. Actually, let's be the 6-hitter, Kaylee Newland, the lefty, the first lefty of the game. Both pitches to the outside, 2-0. It's definitely a difference when you start to see a lefty in there, but you have to continue to have your same focus as you have when you're pitching to a righty. I know this in travel ball, and being around, watching, my son pitch in travel ball where the first two pitches after seeing so many right-handed batters may be slightly erratic, but you have to adjust, especially as you get older and and teams continue to get better and are able to combine well-hitting righties and lefties. 2-2 count. Ball's foul ball down the left foot line and foul.
Seems like she's staying on the outside half of the plate here at this at bat. One interesting thing I always thought about, and I didn't really learn until I went to college, a ball hit off of a left-hander's bat, especially if you're in the outfield, is going to start tailing towards the foul line. So as an outfielder, making those adjustments, if you see a lefty coming up, if you're getting the pitches from your shortstop, just making those adjustments defensively. And we saw that on that foul ball, how much that ball tailed towards the fence. So
definitely a different slice when the left-hander hits the ball. And she gasses up that outside corner for strike 3, her second strikeout of the game, 1 down.
I really think that she seems to be throwing predominantly on that inside corner of the plate to righties, the outside corner of the plate, we saw that to lefties. So I'm assuming she has some type of screwball, maybe an inside rise ball. She went outside there with the curveball.
Yeah, and that pitch definitely had a little bit of some slice to it. I think that was actually the filthiest pitch I've seen so far for both pitchers, and she's quickly down 0-2. In the changeup.
Man, if she can locate that pitch down just a little bit more, that's a pretty nice pitch.
So, Caitlin, what is the distance in pitching from the softball pitcher's mound to the catcher?
Man, you're really testing my knowledge here. If any fans are watching and I answer this incorrectly, please let us know, but I believe it's 43 feet from the pitcher's mound to the plate.
So, as you get older,
not far enough, I would probably say. Not far enough.
As you get older and you see, the size and the strength of someone like Gracie Brown, Becca Munson, Brooke, and all these elite pitchers, Ellie Sloan, it does seem really close, for a 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18-year-old to be pitching from.
And just your reaction time, right? Like to make a decision, do I swing or not? I think it really. We had a walk there. She was very patient at bat. That was a good at bat. I think just learning the pitchers, right? What do they seem to really throw, and then make that adjustment in the box. Look for those pitches that you can handle.
So number 8 hole hitter Lacey Slick up next, and what I've noticed a little bit about Gracie is. She gets up to 0-2, and then a couple times she's kind of throw 4 straight balls and lost a hitter that she initially had dominated. And I think as she continues to progress, you'll start to see her. When you start to get in that 2-2, you start to lose a little bit. You throw that pitch that can get hit, but you locate your spot. Try to create that ground ball double play, so to speak, instead of trying to blow everybody away. Because I feel like that's kind of what she did the last time. Would you agree?
Yeah, and I think, as she matures, as the season goes on, as she and her catcher get used to playing with each other, she'll be able to locate those pitches. Obviously, if you go up on a pitcher 0-2, you have some wiggle room as a pitcher. I was always taught, well, I was never a pitcher, but if you're 0-2, you're probably not going to see anything close, so you probably should not even be prepared to swing. And so as a pitcher, you have that mindset of, you have a pitch that you can waste and see if, it might be a good time to throw that changeup right out of the zone, throw that drop ball that might be a little too low, because that gives you some wiggle room moving forward.
Unless you're feeling yourself. And sometimes you have those zones where you just feel yourself, where you just blow it past somebody, and you just tell them, man, let's see if we can hit this. 1-2, strike 3, and we will see home team's finest. Home team's little homie, Sydney Kidd, Sydney Elwinger. And this is a matchup between a freshman and a junior. Let's just see how they attack. You know, how they attack each other. And actually, Sydney's been playing softball for 2 years at the high school level. You know, there's pretty much nothing she hasn't seen. But Gracie quickly attacks her inside corner with a high fastball.
She really wanted that pitch too. That was a great hack at that ball. This is an important at bat because if she can get on base, then we roll back over to the top of the order.
And she throws another fastball right down the middle, 0-2. And I think it's a little bit of timing right now. Seeing that ball and getting that bat hit out in front. 0-2.
And this is their first time through the lineup. It's their first time seeing her as a pitcher. You know, as a freshman, they didn't face her last year. So just learning what she throws, seeing what she does, and then, you know, when they go through the lineup the second time, seeing what kind of adjustments they make.
And the thing about, you know, those walks as well is we're only in the second inning, so they're about to turn the lineup over, potentially in the second inning. So, you know, for anyone who's played baseball or softball, the more times you see someone, that, you know, the easier it gets for you to be able to pick up on their tendencies and start putting the ball in play. 2-2 count. Ball high.
I will say it's a great at bat for Sydney. She, you know, obviously got down in the count 0-2. She's worked herself into a full count here. The runner's going to be going on the pitch, so even if she can hit a ground ball somewhere, they're advancing the runner.
You know what's coming. That fastball's coming. She cannot afford to walk. That fastball's coming. But she throws it inside, and two hitters in this inning got down 0-2, and Gracie lost them. So now we turn over the order in the second inning. You have a girl on first and second. And let's see how she handles a little bit of this pressure. And the ball is
nice
hit high.
hit.
The ball gets down. That would be the first run of the game.
That's going to probably be
They
two
might score
runs.
2 runs. Oh, they actually kept. So Sydney, we don't have a play at the plate. The Sydney gets down, and it is 2-0. And we actually will have 3-run score. And just like the Musselman Hedgesville baseball game, Musselman takes the 3-0 lead.
You know, we talk about the free passes.
Yes.
Nothing to take away from the pitcher, but she gave up 2 walks there, put a runner in scoring position, brought the top of the order back up, who's already seen her one time, and that was a solid hit. You know, and Hedgesville, to their credit, got the ball in quickly, and then, you know, had a throwing error there. But
you know, to be completely honest with you, this is what you take from a freshman early. Because obviously you see that she has dominant stuff. And sometimes there is a saying that you want to get to someone early. Because you know if you have to deal with them later on, once they develop into who they are and what they can become, they become a different animal. And from what I'm seeing from Gracie is, I guarantee you by the end of the season, she's going to be one of the most dominant pitchers in this area.
yeah, and you see some senior leadership there. Collis is going out talking to her young pitcher, just calming her down. You know, softball, it's a long 7 innings, right? And it's one of those games where in one at bat, this one pitch, this game could be completely different. So, you know, just calming her down, get out of this inning. We saw that Hedgesville put some hits together the last inning. So, you know, interesting to see if Musselman can get another base runner here, or if Hedgesville will calm down and get this 3rd out.
We had a base clearing triple from Lydia McClintock that scored City Owenier and 5 Rutherford. And an error obviously would allow her to score. And then now we have an error on the second baseman and the hit batter. And she's in trouble again. Scored 3-0, top of the second. But Hedgesville has a potent lineup as well. And I think, you know, what the coach is telling her is, hey, relax. You know, let's get through this inning. And let's allow our bats to work for you.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's only the 2nd inning, so there's still a lot of softball game left.
And one thing that I see, and this is a personal opinion, one thing that I've seen that she kind of got away from is in that first inning, you could tell that a couple times she pitched to contact. she was able to create those easy ground ball outs to the second baseman. In this game, you can tell she kind of got a strikeout on it. She's trying to be perfect on every single pitch, as opposed to allowing her defense to work for her. Number 7, Morgan Bennett, her second time to the plate. 1-0 count. Bennett.
She just missed that spot.
And I think, obviously, it happens in baseball as well. Once a pitcher gets slightly erratic, you start to lose those calls from the umpire. She's going to have to come correct to be able to get that strike call right now. Just like she just did right there, 2-1.
Well, and credit to these Musselman hitters. They've been really patient at bats. Seen some pitches that they liked and swung at them, made contact with some, didn't with some, but then, really settled into that when they have 2 strikes, taking that approach of really getting something good that they want to hit.
The second baseman discovers to get that out right there. And at the end of the top of the second, we have the Musselman Appleton and we're going to see Hedgesville's bats. They're a good hitting team. So 3 runs is not going to be enough to be able to hold them down. So let's see how Musselman and Sarah Munson continue to attack these hitters, and they continue to kind of pitch around slightly Brianna Collins going forward. So we will take a quick break on Team Sports TV. Back with the bottom of the second lineup. We'll have number 15, Shea Darlington, against Sarah Munson. After you get a lead like that, Kaylin, what is something that if you're a coach that you tell your team for Hedgesville side?
I think, they're not going to get 3 runs in, one swing with no runners on base, right? So getting base runners on is super important right now. As a leadoff hitter, seeing some pitches, taking the pitcher deep in the count, just seeing what she has. And then, like I said, getting base runners on and then moving those base runners into scoring position. Just making contact, getting on, and then letting the hitters behind you do the rest of the work.
Slightly outside. Something that she wants to attack. She'll go into the choke up. Now she's just more focused on putting the ball in play and making the Musselman defenders make the play. Ball's foul out there. I like that swing right there. She could easily take that place, take it to the outside. She can take the plate.
Yeah, and I think you're also still learning the umpire right now. We're still early in the game, so you're not sure if he would have called that pitch a strike or not. So you take that out of his hands as well by just swinging and protecting yourself. Yes, those backward Ks really hurt.
She fights back to the 2-2 count. You can tell Musselman is a little bit frustrated with that last pitch. That ball is interesting to see a similar scenario that happened in the last inning. The Raiders hit this inning, this top of it, the bottom of this inning, getting up quickly, 1-2. That was 2 straight balls. Let's see what happens with this pitch. Strong
That was a nice
down the
hit.
line, and a base hit.
So there's one base runner on, and I said base runners are important for them to chip away at this lead. So we got leadoff hitter on. I'm curious here to see the coach's strategy. Are we going to bunt the runner over or maybe do a hit and run? I'll be curious to see what happens here with this hitter.
We'll have Morgan Youngfish up next. Hedgesville has a player on first base. That's the pitch. Strike one. Still a little bit something off of that pitch.
Yeah, if she can locate that low and in the zone, I mean that's a good pitch. We saw the last inning to the early hitters. She threw that out of the zone, but I think she started to locate it better at the bottom of the first. She goes there again. To me, that looked still like the changeup, but it could have been a drop ball. It just seemed, obviously a drop ball is going to lose a little bit of velocity, but that to me looked like another changeup.
Because in baseball terms, pitchers do that. That's 12-6. So I gotta get myself more prepared and what. Because I was about to call it 12-6. It had a little bit of a drop to it, but it's a beautiful pitch.
And there's that pitch there. The last batter fouled that pitch off. And now we know the umpire's probably going to call that strike moving forward.
And now we have the 8-hitter, Kaylin Dollar. Dollar bill, y'all.
One of the not to throw any shade at baseball players, but I think one of the unique things about softball is that pitchers are able to make the ball move in all 4 planes, right? So as a hitter, you have to look for a ball that's moving up, a ball that's moving down, a ball that's moving in on your hands, out from your hands. Could be off speed and dropping. So there's so many different combinations of things that they could see as a hitter, and a lot of tools that pitchers have that they can develop.
I'm gonna say something to that, to that comment. That rise ball is against physics. I don't know how,
but it's effective.
A pitcher can get so, when you watch the game and you see that rise ball, especially as a baseball player, it feels like it's against physics to be able to see a ball, be able to do what it does. But growing up and seeing Jenny Finch, it's amazing.
Well, and I think that pitch she just threw there was a screwball in on the hands, and what's even scarier than a rise ball is a screwball coming in at you. And so that's what she did there. Jams a lot of right-handed hitters, use it as a curveball against left-handed hitters.
We will have number 2, the 9-hole hitter, Lakin Copenhaver. And the thing that I've seen, you can tell that Sarah Munson is polished. She doesn't have the overpowering stuff that Gracie Brown has, but she's so polished. She hits her spots like a Greg Maddox did in baseball. You don't always have to have the most overpowering stuff to be effective as a pitcher. You have to be able to hit your spots, change those speeds. They said change the outplane of the hitter, and you're getting to see right now how she's actually using a little bit more of her experience to create a difficult at bat for all these Hedgesville hitters.
And I think being able to locate that off-speed pitch, whether it's a drop ball or a changeup, she's locating it low in the zone. It's really throwing some of these Eagles hitters off.
Quickly down 0-2. You see right there, that was an uncomfortable take right there. That was an anxiety take that you see. As you see, she kind of lunged forward a little bit.
Well, and that was another off-speed pitch. It was up in the zone this time. You can tell that Munson's definitely comfortable throwing it in all counts. She's thrown it on the first pitch. She's thrown it for the 3rd strike.
And she fights back. Lakin Copenhagen fights back 2-2. So we have Musselman leading 3-0 at the bottom of the 2nd. Sarah Munson on the mound for the Appleman. Foul ball.
That's that screwball pitch again. At least from here it looked like the screwball. It was in and up on the hands. And I also think one of the things that's unique here, I haven't really watched Hedgesville, but it looks like Musselman's catcher is calling her own game with her pitcher. which again speaks to the confidence the coaching staff has in their relationship and the ability to know hitters, know what's working. So I always like when, catchers have that right and that power to call their own game.
Yeah, and really only the greatest catchers at any level are able to be able to get that respect, to be able to call that. You have to build a lot of confidence and trust in someone. And Sarah Munson with the strikeout, strike 3, and at the end of 2, we have the Musselman Appleman 3, the Hedgesville Eagles 0. We'll be back after a quick commercial break. This is Akeem Holmes and my homie Caitlin. Thank you for guest starring Home Team Sports TV. And we are back. We will have Gracie Brown back on the mound at the top of the third. Going against number 11 from Musselman, Patty Miller, the hitter. And the changeup misses low. 1-0. That's a good take right there.
Yeah, and as a leadoff hitter, you want to see some pitches. There's nothing that irks a coach's nerves more than leadoff hitter hitting the first pitch and then the second hitter hitting the first pitch. You want to take the pitcher deep into the count, see some pitches.
And quickly up in the count, 2-0. And you can tell that Gracie's is getting a little bit frustrated. Especially after ending that last inning, she wants to come back and she smokes that ball up the middle. And I think what is going on right now, and I can say this because obviously as a younger player, we've all kind of gone through similar situations, but it seems that she's having to take a little bit off of her fastball to be able to locate it, and it's just enough for these Musselman hitters to feel a little bit more comfortable with it.
And adversity is going to make her stronger as the season goes on. You like to face the adversity earlier so then you can grow from it. And again, if she can just settle in here, get back to what she does well, rely on her defense behind her, she'll be on the way to getting back into the dugout and getting their bats up to the plate.
Two amazing pitches on the outside corner. She's quickly opposed to it. And she does it again. Strike 3. 3 straight pitches. That's the dominance that you know that it's there.
Yep.
It's there for her. 3 straight pitches outside corner. There's nothing she could do with it. Quickly down. 1 out. We have a lady on first base. And now we will have from Musselman number 5, Miley Rutherford. And Miley and Lacey, they got those walks along with Cindy Owlinger, and I think one of them got out, but they got out on a ground ball, but they got walked, and it actually created some of that high anxiety for that last inning. And then we had number 1, Lydia McClintock, kind of bust the game open a little bit.
Well, and you can definitely tell these Musselman hitters are being patient. They're looking for that one pitch that they can handle, and since she's having a little bit of control issue, they can do that right now. You can see that adjustment that they're making.
It's so crazy though, because I looked at last pitch. It looked like a slider to me. Just the way that it be able to know that it had that snap to break to the outside. But right now she's in a little bit of a rhythm, and if she can get locked in and get in a rhythm, she's going to be difficult to hit.
I think she's throwing a screwball there. My pitching friends out there can let me know if that's the case. But even to the lefty, that looked like what she was throwing on the outside corner. She's able to locate that pitch pretty well. So that pitch seems to be working for her.
We have Lacey Slick up right now. Pass ball right there. Advances the runner to second base. Another pass ball. And she advances to third. And, you know, when you're having an inning like she's having where she kind of locked back in and you struck those last two batters out, you know, the last thing you want to do is have these pass balls to allow Musselman to get a cheap run.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she's throwing a straight rise ball there or if her pitch is just up in the zone. But there she went back to that inside corner pitch again. And like I said, she's locating that pitch very well.
And you can tell that she feels so much more comfortable on the inside corner. So you just wonder if these Musselman hitters are going to adjust and kind of back off the plate a little bit and just force her to be able to attack that outside to where she's just a little bit more erratic with her location.
Well, and the other adjustment they could make is move up in the box. Yeah, well, if they move up in the box, then they can get that pitch before it breaks inside.
It is right now. It is, you know, easier to tell that she prefers that inside. 2-2. I'd like to see that screwball again. Inside, dominant inning by Gracie Brown, 3 strikeouts, and at the end of the top of the third, we have the Musselman Appleman 3, the Hedgesville Eagles 0. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Out for the Eagles, number 1, center fielder, Maggie Boyer.
And we are back at Anderson Field in Hedgesville, West Virginia. My name is Akeem Holmes. I'm joined by Caitlin Grantham. And we are in the bottom of the third. Sarah Munson is pitching a gem right now for the Musselman Appleman. But the Hedgesville lineup has turned over. And she is going against number 1, the leadoff hitter, Maggie Boyer.
You can tell that Munson's feeling really comfortable with that off-speed pitch. She's thrown it first 2 pitches here. She's really has the Hedgesville lineup unsteady right now, not sure what's coming. I'm curious to see, again, what adjustments Hedgesville makes as they come through the lineup a second time, knowing that she's consistently throwing that pitch.
And she shook her catcher off. And she threw her own pitch right there, and she didn't locate it. Eventually, the catcher was like, "Nah, you're gonna throw what I call." 1-2, bottom 3. It's a beautiful pitch, strike 3.
When we talk about adjustments with these hitters, you almost wonder if the Hedgesville hitters will move up in the box, get the pitch before it drops, sit on an off-speed pitch, look for that pitch when you get it, then swing, take everything else.
Yeah, the body hits the floor right there. That's like the 90s. Something's wrong with me. I just know that one. Growing up in Shepherdstown, we friends with everybody. We got the hippies, whatever it may be. We just love each other. We all listen to each other's music. It's just a great place to live back in the 90s and the early 2000s. I just showed you guys my age right there. I got a 14-year-old and a 10-month-old. Please pray for me. The ball is popped up. And right there, you kind of just like to see just a little bit quicker reflexing to get to that because you don't want to give these 2, 3, and 4 hitters a second chance.
Yeah, and, with the lights on now, that's also an adjustment to make when the game started. It was still dusk, so the lights weren't on. Fly balls up into the lights are, I think, almost worse than fly balls hit into the sun, so, making that adjustment as well.
So Kaylee is quickly up in the count 2-1. Let's see how Munson tries to attack this at bat. Do you give in any pitcher, give her something in the zone? Or do you realize how dangerous she is? And, try to make her chase something to get an easy, weak ground ball.
You can tell she's really painting the corners here. She's throwing pitches just outside of the zone to see if she could get them to chase.
And the ball is popped up. Looks like they're going to run into each other. Whew. Listen, baseball 101, you call it.
Well, and I think they both were calling it. And again, that's almost,
shortstop on the second base of the side. So, but that's a big play right there because you rather face Brianna Collis with no one's on than to have someone on after a cheap walk and allow her to hit the ball into the streets. So with 2 outs, Munson versus Collis, round 2. First pitch inside and low, 1-0. I wonder if they ever play a game of Pepper where they try to hit the moving car. At Anderson Field, also great, right up the middle. But at Anderson Field, the field is just looking straight at the highway, going into Hedgesville towards Berkeley Springs. So you can just imagine them just trying to play a game of Pepper, seeing who can hit the
I'm
ball
sure there's some kind of tally somewhere how many cars have been hit. I'm sure whoever does it takes pride in the fact that they were able to hit a car. I mean, that's a home run, so they take that any day.
Yeah, 100%. And just a little bit of fun as well.
Yep.
So now for Hedgesville, we have the freshman pitcher, Gracie Brown, trying to help herself. And she took some daddy hacks the last time.
Yep.
And excuse me if I'm not being politically correct with that comment. But she swings with a purpose.
Well, and I think you can do that early in the count when you don't have to protect yourself. You can take those big hacks. And she sees a pitch she likes.
The count is 1-1. So again, this is the bottom of the third. Musselman leading 3-0. And the ball is off the end of the bat, down the right field line and foul. Munson up 1-2. And the last time Munson was able to get her to chase on a changeup outside the zone just a little bit to get her to strike out. And again, she's up 1-2. Let's see if she has that same strategy for this pitch to see if the freshman mentally can adjust.
And you could tell that maybe wasn't the pitch she was looking for, but she was protecting that outside corner. It was a good swing.
1-2, she shakes her off. Umpire calls a time. We're back in play, 1-2. The pitch.
It's a good hit.
Gets through to second base, and it will get Collis to third. Good throw. And Sydney Elringer with a great play right there to keep the ball in front. Yeah, but that play right there for the right fielder, going forward, and to everybody watching the game, get the ball to the second baseman. You keep that runner at the first base. You only have one person in score position. With these shortened bases, there's not a good chance you're going to be able to throw someone out from that distance to third base. And it's now allowed to put 2 runners in scoring position. hit that cutoff or get the ball to the second baseman, and keep Gracie Brown at first base, and not now having someone at second and third.
As an outfielder, I'll probably disagree with you on that. If you got the arm as a right fielder, you probably have the strongest arm on the field. Her throw was pretty accurate, having that confidence to throw the ball there. Yeah, we did allow a runner to go into scoring position, but I don't know. And I'm an outfielder at heart, so.
Between baseball and softball, because now, now you give up a run right there. Now,
yeah.
I'll say that hit was used on the score anyways, but it puts a little bit of extra pressure on your pitcher at that point when you have two people in scoring position.
And I would argue, again, once you're at second base in softball, you're in scoring position. So, the runner that's on third would have moved to second on that pitch. She still would have been in scoring position. Either way, I think as a coach, they did what they could do in that situation.
I think that's the difference in the game.
Yeah.
That's the difference between baseball and softball, especially even with the field dimensions. That does create that different dynamic. Myself, playing the game, I'm looking right there, and I'm like, no, I want you to hit the second baseman and keep that runner at first.
And I'm sure in practice, they practice a runner going from first to third on a ground ball to the outfield, and where's your play, and all those scenario situations. And I watched him warming up some. She has a pretty accurate arm, but again, you're up 3 runs, so you can kind of gamble a little bit in that situation. But again, an opportunity here for the Eagles to chip away again at that lead. They have, they're only down 2 runs now. Had a little 2-out rally, so we'll see if Munson can settle in here and get out of this inning.
Please make sure your lights are turned off in your vehicles. Thank you.
It's amazing that you still deal with this at the high school level of parents turning their car lights on within the field of play.
Well, it's probably a heat thing. Maybe they're cold, they're up there warming up, don't realize their lights are on.
Flip that switch down.
Please ask them to turn that off nicely. Thank you.
So we are having a quick little break. Something else is just different, and I talked to some friends the other day, and this is getting on, on the side. Is social media has now created so many friendships and bonds between the schools and the players, and they play on so many teams together. It's just so amazing. It's amazing, but it's crazy for me just to see so much friendliness during the competition between the players.
Yeah, and we talked about those opportunities earlier, and they have the opportunity to play travel ball with each other now and travel together and build those friendships. And it's something to I played against some of my high school teammates in college, and we couldn't be friends on the field, but after the field we were cracking up and having a good time. So it's similar to what these young athletes are experiencing now.
So we have a 1-1 count. Munson on Darlington. Good take right there. One count. That's a center fielder. Ball's getting down. And it would be 3-2. And do you think that she maybe couldn't see the ball?
I definitely think the lights play a part in it. I'm sure that they practice at night with the lights on. But this is, I believe, maybe their first home game. We talk about Washington. They just got lights for the first time, so they've been practicing at night under the lights because they're not used to that. And it could be a problem. It could be the shortstop initially looked like she was going after that ball, so the center fielder could have seen her coming. It was also just one of those balls that's hit into no man's land that would have been hard for either one of them to get.
Count, and Hedgesville has chipped into the lead. Now the score is 3-2, bottom 3. Strike one. Umpire loves that inside corner. 2-1. Inside court, she fights it off. That ball's getting down. Oh, and it gets past her. It's score 2, and the game is
Now, I would say in that situation you would hit your cutoff because the runner at third was stopped. That could be communication from the infielders telling her, you know, hit the cut, and maybe that wasn't happening.
So now the score is 3-3. Kaylin Dollar. Go to the outside. 1-1. Hedgesville has runners on second and third. Ball outside and low.
And I think one of the biggest differences this inning is Hedgesville's really being patient at the plate, and maybe that's something they talked about in between innings. I think Munson's doing a good job locating pitches, but I don't know that necessarily all of the balls that Hedgesville's been swinging at have been strikes in the zone. And so being more patient at the plate, they're getting those pitches they can handle.
And see right there was an error on the shortstop, but you've seen a play where that same situation happened to Guthridge for Hedgesville, and she was able to make the play. And right there, the shortstop was able to make the play for Musselman. Now they're down 4-3 on the E from the shortstop. And I think that is something that the coach probably informed Hedgesville that they needed to do. Hey, listen, let's put the ball in play and see how good of a field they are.
Yeah, and Hedgesville, this is their second time through the lineup, too, so they've seen her once. I feel like whenever you get up to the plate for the first time, you just want to hit the ball, right? And so you might swing at some pitches that you maybe know you shouldn't swing at. And so, again, being more patient at the plate, they're seeing a lot more pitches, putting the ball in play.
Yes. And they're seeing the ball a lot better the second time around. And, you know, again, like I said, you know, Munson's game isn't to blow you away. It's really to locate pitches. And sometimes pitches like that, you know, you see them a couple times, and it becomes an issue. So we have 0-1 count. And she strikes the ball up the middle, and that scores another run, 5-3, Hedgesville. And they're hitting the ball hard, top to bottom, and they have actually turned over the lineup again. And it's Maggie Boyer.
Number 1, center fielder, Maggie Boyer.
So we have a 5-3 Hedgesville lead with runners on first and second. First pitch outside, ball 1.
And I think it's important to note they've scored all of their runs with 2 outs. So, you know, putting the ball in play with 2 outs, they scored 5 runs. This ball's going to drop.
And they're hitting the ball into these gaps. Hey, down, and she's safe 6-3. And right now, Hedgesville has it going.
And I think if you're Musselman, you know, just take a breather. All you need is 1 out, 1 ground ball to first base, 1 ball caught in the outfield. You just need 1 out here.
Well, plus another thing that I'm seeing is Hedgesville hasn't made many adjustments with their defense as well. They're playing so deep, and all these hits have been shallow, and you would essentially feel like at some point they will move in just a little bit to get to these balls that are falling in no man's land. But they haven't made that adjustment yet. 6-3. Hedgesville was a lady on second and third. And this is a big at bat right here because if you don't get her out, then you're dealing with Brianna Collis.
And you deal with her with bases loaded.
She really could bust us open. And then you have Gracie Brown after that. So she really wants to get out of the inning right now. And that's not going to happen. Another E by the shortstop. The score is 7-3, Hedgesville. And you have a lady on first and third with Brianna Collis coming up. Brenna. Sorry, Brenna. I've been calling you Brianna the whole time, so I'll make sure I have that corrected for the rest of the game. But Brenna Collis is up in the box. Ball outside, 1-0.
You have one of these unique situations that occurs in softball where you have runners on first and third. We do have 2 outs, so I'll be curious to see what the Hedgesville coach dials up here, if anything.
We have a 2-2 count. 2-0 count.
It's a nice pitch.
Right, she tried to take that pitch to the moon. 2-1. Count. Munson to College. Ball low. 3-1.
I mean, this is a hitter's count right here.
Yeah.
3-1. Runners on second and third.
And this is all if she wants to take that chance with her. And you can tell right there, she just didn't really want to take that shot. So now you have the freshman, Gracie Brown, and she's the pitcher right now. She has a chance to blow this game wide open and help herself.
Gracie Brown.
We have an 0-1 count. Munson to Brown. And she takes serious hacks, but right now she's gonna have to choke up a little bit and just put the ball in play. But she has that power hitter swing.
Yeah, there's no pressure on her at this at bat. Last time she was up, they were down 3-0. I'm sure she felt a lot of pressure, but they have the lead now, so she can just go out and have some fun with this at bat. The other thing this does for Musselman with bases loaded, there's a force out at any base. That's a shot.
That ball's gone. That ball is gone. And a grand slam from Gracie Brown. I was actually just Googling Jocelyn Allo from Oklahoma. Because she has that swing where you just tell that she's going for it all. And the freshman is just showing you why she's saying, I'm here. My name is Gracie Brown, and I'm a softball player.
And we talked about choking up with 2 strikes. She didn't choke up. She said, I believe in the swing that I have, and I'm going to, with 2 strikes, I'm not scared to swing for the fences, obviously.
And to be completely honest with you, and I think that everybody in here can say this, she's going to be special. She's going to be special, and I really look forward to seeing Jefferson and Hedgesville play.
Yep.
10-3. Oh, they're smacking the ball right now. That's another base hit.
Again, I keep thinking they've scored 10 runs on 2 outs.
Yeah.
And so that never give up, doesn't matter, how many outs we have, mentality.
And it started off with little bloop hits. They weren't hitting the ball very hard. But the last 3 to 4 hits have been hit with a lot of velocity. And obviously we see the grand slam. And, we spoke about it before it happened. They wanted to get that 2-hole hitter out because once it got to Collis and Brown, you knew that the inning could potentially get ugly.
Yep, and they've had hits all through the lineup, so, everybody's feeling fairly confident at the plate. And again, it goes back to them being patient. They haven't been swinging out a lot of pitches out of the zone. So they're getting those pitches that they can hit and handle.
And I also want to speak on the composure that Munson is actually showing right now. To be able to have the type of game that she has had right here, and to be able to stay focused and locked in. It's a lot of respect from your coaches as well, where you're saying, this is your game. But right now, Hedgesville is just seeing the ball very, very well. And I think that, at some point, the coach has to make an adjustment and, switch it up and give them a different pressure.
Yeah, and I think she's obviously seems composed out there. She doesn't seem overly frustrated. I noticed that earlier in the inning as well. She can get a ground ball here, let her defense work.
See, right now, everything is just good right now.
Yeah, everything's going Hedgesville's way. That ball just bounced right off the right field chalk out there.
And the score is 11-3. Hedgesville, and they're just feeling really good right now.
Now batting right fielder number 16, Kaylin Dollar.
And it seemed like she was just hitting. She's back up again.
Yeah.
Kaylin Dollar. And that was a pretty strong swing right there as well.
And again, you see Munson going back to what's been working for her. She threw that drop ball in the outside corner.
Hedgesville leading 12-3. And that's another strike up the middle, and that's scoring 2. And now we're in mercy rule territory, and I feel like if Hedgesville gets to this next inning without getting up a run, that'll be the game. Or is it 5 innings?
I'm not sure. You might have to ask the athletic director that question. We didn't have the third inning mercy rule when I played. We only had the mercy rule after 5 innings. And if there's a viewer watching, they might be able to tell us.
Now batting shortstop number 2, Lakin Copenhaver.
We have Lakin Copenhaver up now. First pitch high and outside, ball 1. That Gracie had when she was having an inning. But that ball was close.
Yeah.
She's not just getting those calls right now. Ball low, 3-0 count. She walks her, and we actually flip the order again. Last night, Munson went 4 innings. She threw 86 pitches last night in their loss to Washington. And then to turn back around and you're pitching again today, at some point you want to be, she's also looks a little bit tired. I know they do that a lot at the college level, but they're more conditioned athletes with a weight training program. And Musselman right now is just not getting Hedgesville is capitalizing on all of these mistakes. They're a very, very good softball team. Let's see if she capitalizes on that opportunity, because that would have been an out right there for Miss Boyer. But now she gets a second life. Ball low, 1-1 count.
And I think fatigue could be playing a little bit of a part. We're early in the season. Obviously, pitching in the game's a little different than pitching at practice. They did play last night.
And it's a different type of hitting lineup as well. Hedgesville is pretty powerful from 1 through 9. 2-1 count. Boy, right up the middle. Will advance to second base on the runner's indifference. And at some point you even see her body language. You just wonder if the coach is going to come And this is a chance where you can actually get a younger player some work. You have a lot of seniors. You can actually get a freshman ready, prepared for a year or two down the road when they need to be able to pitch in big games. Ball outside. Kaylee Laughlin. If she gets on once again, we'll be dealing with Brianna Collis and Gracie Brown, who hit the grand slam this inning. Ball softly hit to the second baseman. It will get through, and 2 runs will score. 17-13, Hedgesville. And we've actually seen that a lot this game. The ball's just slightly out of the grasp of these Appleman defenders. And the score is 17-3. Burnett Collis, ball off the end of the bat, and we will finally get out of the inning. And after 17 runs, the Hedgesville Eagles walk into the 3rd inning down 3-0, and they leave leading 17-3. This is Akeem Holmes and Caitlin Gratham from Home Team Sports TV. And now, Cindy Bowlinger up for the Musselman Appleman. Top of the 4th, 17-3, Hedgesville. First pitch, strike 1 right down the middle.
And I think if you're Musselman right now, you just need to chip away at this lead. We did get clarification on the mercy rule, so it is 15 runs after 3 and then 8 after 5. So they can just put together some hits here, get some base runners on, chip away at this lead. Again, there's still plenty of time left in this game to get back in it, but again, you're not going to score 14 runs in 1 at bat. So get some base runners, put the ball in play.
And Elwinger is quickly down 0-2. Ball high and outside. And the last time she got up on Elwinger 0-2, she was able to fight back into the count and get a walk. 17-3, Hedgesville with the lead.
And I think even more so when you're down, seeing a lot of pitches, fouling off pitches, getting the one that you can really handle. if they'll make any adjustments in the batter's box. Seeing that she threw a lot of inside pitches to him in the innings previously, if they make any adjustments there.
2-2 count. Ball low, and she's 3-2 again, so Ellinger fights back. 3-2 count for Brown. If I had any critique on Brown for this game, it's, she needs to capitalize on getting up quickly on these counts. She's wasting a lot of pitches that could potentially affect her later on down the road versus some of the better teams in the state. Ball is high, and once again, Ellinger goes from 0-2 and gets a 6-pitch walk.
And she just missed on that pitch. Kudos to Sydney knowing the umpire strike zone. I haven't seen him call a lot of pitches up in the zone, and so knowing that was a pitch she could take.
And now we have number 9, Mackenzie Shanholz.
She starts her out with the changeup. Again, just a little high up in the zone.
My apologies, video. She fouls the ball off.
She comes back with that screwball. You can see how that jams hitters. Musselman's fouled off a lot of foul balls down that right field line, right over the dugout.
1-1 count. Ball high. 2-1. And right now, if you're a coach, you're just telling Gracie Brown, you're up 14 runs. You don't have to be perfect. Let's just, get these outs. To get back, while we're hot, just get back into the dugout, and get back to the plate. Because the last thing you really want is to have your fielders out there sitting around for another long inning, i.e. like Musselman has had with Sarah Munson that last inning. It takes a toll on you when you're sitting out there for so long.
Yeah, and Hedgesville's been, that ball hits her. Hedgesville's been pretty sound defensively, so just letting your defense work behind you. Musselman's quickly worked to 2 runners on base here with no outs. So again, seeing a lot of pitches, getting on base, knowing she's going to come inside with that screwball. If you want to, the inside line of the batter's box is completely gone right now in the right-hand batter's box. So they can crowd the plate, maybe take some of those pitches, and get base on, hit by pitch.
And I think that's what Brenda Collins has said. She probably just went out there and told her, like, hey, relax, we're up 17-3. You don't have to strike everybody out. Let's just put the ball in play and let our defense work for you. First 2 runners on base. Hit down the third base line. Foul.
And you see that screwball again. It's a nice hit.
Outfield, and he gets behind the center fielder. And he'll score at least a run for Musselman.
He's going to score 2.
Ooh, and she
Ooh,
is out.
Nope, she's out. Oh.
Oh, the umpire says she misses the tag, and and it's something that you really want, like something I can say now as a mature adult. See how I keep on like that. You never want to show up the umpire, even if you might feel like the call was incorrect, you just move on. Because when you start showing that emotion, I've always noticed it gets me in trouble.
Yeah.
So that was actually a hard hit ball. It scored 17-5 right now. And I think that it's just one of those things where, you just realize that with Gracie right there, she has dominant stuff. She shows that she has the stuff that can make her great. But right now, there's a little bit of fine-tuning.
Yeah, and one of the things as a Musselman hitter, all you have to do is put the bat on the ball. She has enough velocity that,
Yes.
You're going to get a base hit. And see a pitching change here. But I give a lot of credit to Gracie because, early on, she had those couple tough innings. She came back in, and has pitched a great game since then. And if you're Musselman, you just got to keep chipping away. go back to that tag at the plate. I'm not sure how much the viewers could see. They probably actually got a better look of it than us. But one of the things I think Collis did well is she didn't obstruct the plate. She had the throw was a little bit up the line, so she had to go up the line some, but there wasn't any obstruction.
So we will have a pitching change for Hedgesville. Let me get the name correct. Number 8, Kelsey. Was it Van Naan?
I think it's Van Dyne.
Van Dyne. Kelsey Van Dyne. So we'll be back after a quick break. We are back. We have Kelsey Van Dyne on the mound for the Hedgesville Eagles, leading 17-5. First pitch high and outside. Ball 1. Second pitch. Ball hit on the line. Hard hit. She sticks with the ball, but she is safe. Musselman is not going away easy.
That hot corner is hot.
Yeah.
But kudos to her for, keeping the ball in front and then making a great throw to first base. A good stretch by the first baseman, just wasn't quite in time. And, with a lead, you have that comfort of getting outs, right? If runs score, that's all right. You just get the outs. It's a nice pitch, nice off-speed pitch.
Beautiful change-up right there, 2-2. And it's amazing how that change-up, those fastballs, how it can make you look silly.
I've been made to look silly many a times.
Yeah, it happens. If you play baseball and you're going against any kind of pitching with talent, you're going to have some at-bats you wish you could have back. 3-2 count. On the inside, slightly popped up. And it will be a foul ball. I think it was a slight delay in the catcher time. That's what the ball was.
I think one of the things I've noticed about Van Dyne is she seems to really be able to locate her pitches. She's going in and out, mixing up speeds. Again, we see those balls just elevated in the strike zone. The umpire's not calling those. He's been pretty consistent with that.
2 outs. That's a great play by both Hedgesville defenders. And 2 outs. No one on base. And that was the play that Van Dyne needed to be able to get herself out of this inning.
You have Rutherford coming up to the plate for Musselman. Counts 2-0. With that double play by Hedgesville, there's no runners on base. Counts 2-1. Got a hitter's count here with 3-1. Van Dyne's done a good job of working again both sides of the plate. And a full count, 2 outs. She gets her swinging. We're the bottom of the fourth here. Kelsey Van Dyne, the pitcher, is leading off for Hedgesville. Takes the ball low and outside. It's a nice pitch by Munson. Looked like a drop ball on the outside corner. We'll see if Hedgesville continues to be patient at the plate. Wait till they get a good pitch to hit. Another low, looked like a drop ball. Counts 2-1 to Van Dyne. Van Dyne fouls that off. Counts 2-2. Van Dyne works the count to 3-2. Oh, nice pitch. Munson comes back, gets the strikeout looking. It's 1 out for Musselman.
Now batting number 11, left fielder, Olivia Cooper.
Number 11, Olivia Cooper up to bat for the Eagles. I think if you're Musselman, just coming back out, settling in on defense, it's a new inning, fresh start. See if you can get 3 up, 3 down back into the dugout. Munson starts out with the ball. That ball takes a bad hop in front of the shortstop. Cooper ends up with a double. Second base, we have 1 out, a runner on second.
Now batting first baseman, number 15.
Keem and I talked about this a little bit earlier. The ground here in the infield's pretty hard. I'm old and not out there on the field, but you would have liked to see the shortstop maybe get in front of that ball instead of trying to backhand it. Got a high fly ball to left field in the gap. It's going to score a run. That was number 15, Shea Darlington, hits a double into the left center gap. Got a field maintenance timeout as the Hedgesville coach digs out third base. Stepping up to the plate for Hedgesville is number 12, Morgan Gutteridge. Hedgesville has a runner on second with 1 out. Shortstop made a great play there, went to third. Third baseman made a great tag. It's now 2 outs for Musselman. Runner on first.
Number 16, Kaylin Dollar.
Coming up to the plate for the Eagles is Kaylin Dollar. That was a great play by the shortstop. Read that hop correctly. Went to third as the runner was going. Again, these ground balls here on the infield are taking all kinds of weird, hard bounces. One of the joys and discomforts of being an infielder. Some you field cleanly. Some may bounce over the top of your head. You never know. Munson works ahead in the count 0-1. There's 2 outs, runner on first base. To outside pitch. There's the count to 1-1. It's a nice pitch. Outside corner drop ball. Works the count to 1-2. The ball drops in just behind the second baseman. Hedgesville now has runners on first and third. 2 outs. Brings number 2, Lakin Copenhaver, up to the plate. Musselman's got 2 down, so just need an out here. That ball's down in right field, scores another Hedgesville run. Runners are on second and third. Score is now 19-8. 2 out still. So Hedgesville's making another 2-out rally.
Now batting center fielder number 1, Maggie Boyer.
Now batting for the Eagles is number 1, Maggie Boyer. She's got runners on second and third. Takes an inside pitch to the shortstop. She legs that one out, so she's safe at first. There's a runner on third. Another run scores, so it's 20-8.
Now batting third baseman number 4, Kaylee Laughlin.
Kaylee Laughlin's up for the Eagles. The runner on first goes to second. So we now have runners on second and third. Kaylee's got a 1-0 count with 2 outs. That ball's a little low in the zone. That ball dropped in behind the shortstop up the middle. It's going to score 2 runs. It's a single for Kaylee Laughlin, which brings Brianna Collis up to the plate. Score is now 22-8. Pitch is low in the zone. It's a 1-0 count for Munson. It's a ground ball to the second baseman. She throws to first. Musselman's out of the inning. Score as we go into the top of the 5th is 22-8. We're back here in Hedgesville. It's the top of the fifth, Musselman's coming up to bat. We did have a defensive change for the Eagles. Number 3, Kaylin Cantley, is now playing right field. Up to bat for Musselman is number 8, Lacey Slick. We're back here in Hedgesville. The score is 22-8 in the top of the fifth inning. There's 2 outs, no runners on base. It's an outside pitch. Up to bat